Hey guys, this is Alex Bergson again. I'm making another video about the Michael teachings. This is part of my Michael teaching series of videos. If you don't know what Michael teachings is, it's a channeled body of knowledge that talks about our soul's characteristics and the different characteristics we take on for each life, and details our soul's path through reincarnations, where we learn different lessons along the way. So I've made a few videos already on Michael teachings. I made one about the roles, which is the most primary thing in Michael teachings. And the roles are different soul types that you maintain throughout your whole cycle. Also made a video about the soul ages, so you can see what that's about. That's what we progress through in our reincarnations. And then made a video about the goals, which is one of the overleaves, which is a characteristic that we choose just for this life. Attitudes, which is what we're talking about today, is also an overleaf. So when you get your Michael chart channeled, you'll have an attitude on there, and that attitude is just for this life. It's not like the roles which apply to all your lives. This is just for the life that you're currently in. So let's get into the attitudes. Just like everything else in Michael teachings, there's 7 types of each thing. So there's 7 attitudes. 2 on the inspiration axis, Stoic and Spiritualist. 2 on the expression axis, Skeptic and Idealist. 2 on the action axis, Cynic and Realist, and 1 on the assimilation axis, which is Pragmatist. So Stoic is one where you keep your emotions in, you don't really show them, you just stay peaceful and calm, pretty much. Spiritualist, you see tons of possibilities, you're very positive in your outlook. Skeptic, you doubt things, you check things to see if they're true, do a lot of investigating. Idealist, you think about the ideal scenario and you fight to make changes along with your ideals that you see. Cynic, you test things out and take an opposing viewpoint most of the time to things. See the world in terms of what isn't. Realist, you see all the realistic possibilities available to you. And Pragmatist is basically where you're practical and the way you go about things. So I'll get into what each of these are right now. So first, attitude Stoic. Like I was saying, you're holding your expression and emotions in, which makes you buffered from external stresses. So people who have this type, they don't really show their emotions so readily. They'll keep a kind of stone face and not really show much. And their positive pole is, so in Michael teachings, there's always a positive pole and a negative pole to each characteristic. So when you're in your positive pole, it's when you're functioning through love, through higher consciousness. And negative pole is lower consciousness and fear. So if you have the Stoic attitude, in the positive pole, you're tranquil, capable, calm, peaceful, harmonious, and stable. In your negative pole, it's called resignation. You're just resigned to your fate, slogging along, despairing, exhausted. So the negative pole, you can kind of be like, oh, what's the use? Nothing really matters anyway. I don't, can't do anything about it anyway. But this is actually an inspirational attitude because they can be peaceful and calm no matter what the circumstances are, which is a pretty inspirational thing to be able to do. So that's the first inspiration axis attitude. Next one is spiritualist. And this one, people who have spiritualist attitude believe that anything and everything are possible. They see the big picture. They remind others to believe in themselves and their dreams. So it's a very positive outlook, always looking to see what's all the possibilities are, and it's very spiritual in its outlook. So a lot of spiritual people have this, but it can apply to so many different things. But you're able to see things that other people can't see. So the positive pole is verification. You verify what is actually doable. You're a visionary, and you see possibilities others can't see, and they're expansive. And the negative pole is called faith, where you just have blind faith. You're gullible, naive, diffuse. You don't live in reality. So that's spiritualist. Next attitude is skeptic, where if you have the attitude skeptic, you doubt, consider, and conceptualize and question things before accepting any concept or situation. So it's a little bit of a difficult one to have because you're always doubting things. You want to see if they're true. In the positive pole, it's called investigation, where you ask the necessary questions to get to the bottom of things. This is the good thing about being a skeptic is you can actually get to the truth of things when you're in your positive pole. In the negative pole, you're just in suspicion, so you're just suspicious, doubt everything, lack of trust. So the doubt overcomes everything else in that sense. So that's the first expression axis attitude. The next one is idealist. Idealists see everything in terms of how it can be improved. They dream the impossible dream, and they want to push forward and make progress. In the positive pole, it's called coalescence, where you combine the best of all possibilities, you push for improvement, you bring all parts together, you're practical. In the negative pole, it's abstraction, where you're naive, unrealistic, abstract, ungrounded, and perfectionistic. So these types, people who have idealists can get a lot done. Is like they want to make progress with things and move towards big dreams. But like the negative pole is saying, you can be unrealistic sometimes and a little perfectionistic in your approach. So that's idealist. Now this is the most difficult attitude probably, cynic. The skeptic is also difficult, but cynic, if you're a cynic, then you view the world in terms of what isn't. You're quick to identify what isn't working or what won't work, and you tend to take the opposing viewpoint. In the positive pole, it's contradiction, so they contradict, see the other side, they have constructive criticism, and they question commonly held beliefs. This is kind of difficult even in the positive pole, because you're always criticizing things and contradicting things, but that's useful in certain situations. So that's good to see the other side and put that up against what other people are saying and the way they see things. In the negative pole, it's denigration. They denigrate, they defame, badmouth things, they put down, squash, and reject. So it can be very difficult to deal with in the negative pole. The next attitude on the action axis, like cynic, is realist. They're focused on what is. They see all sides of situations, view things in a matter-of-fact way. They may have difficulty making decisions due to seeing all sides. So I know some people who have realists and they do have difficulty making decisions, but they can see so many possibilities in terms of what's actually realistically achievable that it kind of halts them and they don't know how to move forward. And the positive pole is perception, so they're objective, present, see all sides, see what is. And the negative pole is supposition, where they're subjective, they suppose, they're biased, and they operate on inappropriate data. So the last attitude is pragmatist. This is the neutral axis one. They view the world in terms of what is most practical and efficient. And the positive pole is practicality. They're practical and efficient, simple, functional, and a sensible rule maker. And the negative pole is dogmatism, where they're dogmatic, opinionated, narrow-minded, rigid, preachy, and anal retentive. So, yeah, in the negative pole, they're basing things off of things that aren't necessarily so practical or true. They just stick with what they think works, but it's not necessarily very accurate, so that's why it's dogmatic. The thing about the pragmatist attitude is it's the neutral one, and any of the neutral overleaves, you're able to slide to the other different characteristics. So for attitudes, you can, if you're a pragmatist, you can take on any of the other attitudes you want. So at different times, you might have all the different attitudes. You might favor certain ones, but that's what pragmatist allows you to do because it's a neutral attitude. So here is the attitudes by the percentage of population. Each of the numbers there is the percentage of the population that have these attitudes at any time. So what we can see here is the types, the attitudes: idealist, realist, and pragmatist are the most common by far. Idealist is at 30%, realist is also at 30%, and pragmatist is at 20%. Since pragmatist, you're able to, with that one, you can slide to any of the other attitudes. It makes it convenient to have. So that's probably why there's a lot of people that have pragmatist attitude. And realist, and idealist are some of the easier ones to deal with. Like Cynic and Skeptic are difficult. So there's not that many people who actually are using that attitude at any time. And so the rest of them, Stoic, Spiritualists, and Skeptic and Cynic, are all at 5%. So that's it for the attitudes. If you want to know what your attitude is, I would recommend you order a chart from Shepard Hoodwin. He's the guy that I always buy charts from. And then you'll find out all your overleaves, including your attitude, and your role, your goal, and your soul age, amongst a bunch of other things. So if you want to get a chart, I would go to his website, to his order page, and that's shepardhoodwin.com/order. His website spelled, it's his name, so it's SHEPHERDHOODWIN.com/order. I'm not affiliated with him. We don't have some kind of agreement to work on this together. It's just that I've gotten stuff from him a lot, and he's a really dependable source for this stuff. So he's highly recommended. So that's it, guys, for the attitudes. I'll make a couple more videos about Michael teachings in the basic series of all the different characteristics of the chart. Next one I would probably do is the modes. But then there's also body types, chief features, centering, and those are basically the rest of the main ones, but there's a bunch of other characteristics in it too. So we'll see what else comes up. But that's what I'll be working on in my Michael teaching series, is just finishing off all the rest of the characteristics and talking about everything. So that's it, guys. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. More Michael teachings videos to come. At some point, I'll get back to doing some more celebrity profiles through different spiritual systems, including Michael teachings, Vedic astrology, and human design. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.